There is a land hidden between Rome and Tuscany where everything is very reasonably priced, but history, tradition, people, really people, are fantastic.
Pom, pom, pom. Via. Pronti? E questo è un inno al vino.
You can easily buy for what you can get, maybe a garage in Chicago, New York, or Los Angeles, a little piece of paradise with fireplace and with a garden. A lovely place where you grow older or you send your friends and family. Please check us out. And here we go again. It's Monday, it's the third Monday of the month, and we are talking about real estate in Tuscia. Today I chose my backstage, the Francigena, that is a 1,000 years old way in which the tourists of that time would come to Viterbo and Rome in particular, of course. And actually, between Rome and Tuscany, Rome is the destination typically, and Tuscany, of course, in the last few decades became, a big, huge destination as well. Between those two, there is a little place. It's a comune, it's called. It's a municipality. I think it is 932 people. It's called Onano. It gave birth to a pope, Papa Pio XII, and also to Lina Cancellieri, I think is. No, Lina Cancellieri, I don't remember, the most beautiful woman of the 1920s. In any case, this is the land where you can find the best lentils in the world. And it's a place where it's very, very easy to buy a piece of paradise. But let me ask help to one of my two friends. I'm always happy in this meeting. I have friends that help me out. His name is Roy. He is my poster child, meaning he's an American. He decided to spend the later part of his life in Tuscia. And here we go with Roy. Roy, good evening. How are you?
I couldn't be better. I'm in Sicily.
Hey, talking of which, very quickly, who is Roy? And then the next question is, what the hell are you doing in Sicily?
I'm here on my first vacation in Sicily with my wife and my daughter, and we're having a great time. Fantastic. The food is great.
Is it hard to walk around in Italy?
Actually, I'm quite surprised. The road system here is much better than I thought it would be. I expected, kind of an ancient, civilization, but Sicily is, it has 5 million people. And it's one of the largest regions of Italy, and so I'm quite surprised. And I always thought that the south of Italy was poor and Sicily's poor. I don't think so. But it's just great. We couldn't be happy, and the food is fantastic.
So Roy, let me ask you a typical question that I've been asking, multiple times. So when did you move to Italy, and how do you rate your last few years in Italy?
Well, I moved here in 2009, and I live in Villa San Giovanni in Tuscia, which we've talked about in previous episodes. And, people always ask me, do I miss the United States? And the answer is no. And I love, I love living in Villa San Giovanni. I don't know the village we're talking about tonight, but all the villages here are just fantastic. And if anybody planned to move from the States and retire here like I did, I couldn't be happier. I couldn't be happier. Life here is just great. I'm much healthier. When I came here in 2009, I weighed 205 pounds because I went out a lot and I, ate at fancy restaurants and I drank. And now I'm 179 pounds and my health is great. And, and I have, several good friends here. And so I couldn't be happier. And in terms of, so I'm enjoying Sicily, but the question is, would I rather live here or live in Tuscia? And the answer is, I'm happy living in Tuscia. I'm happy visiting here. I'm happy visiting Venice. I'm happy visiting wherever I go in Italy. But the Tuscia area is my home, and it's really my home. I've lived here longer than anywhere else in my life, and so it's just great. Couldn't be better.
So, Roy, yesterday I had the pleasure to meet Paolo Lazzari, that is a new friend of mine, and he wants to move in Tuscia. And he told me, I didn't tell him, he told me, yes, I can go to Sardinia because a brother of mine lives there, but I'd rather live in Tuscia because it's close to the airport, close to the hospital, it's close to everywhere I want to go. And if I do want to go, for example, Sicily or north of Europe, whatever, I just go down to the airport and jump on a plane, and there I am. And it's much easier than coming from the States, right?
Yeah, well, northern Lazio, where we live, is unbelievably convenient to everything. I'm a golfer, so I have a couple of golf courses I go to. We go to the beach. My wife and I go to the beach once a week. But it's very convenient. Going to the airport, picking up my daughter. It's an hour and 20-minute ride to pick her up at the airport, and so it's very convenient.
So last question, I'm going to let you go quickly tonight because I know you are having dinner out in Sicily. Tell me your daughter impression. Did she like what she saw in Villa San Giovanni in Tuscia?
My daughter?
Yes.
My daughter loves it.
Oh, there you go. Very good. Very
She
good.
loves it. Someday I was going to try to get her on the show, but she's too shy.
Oh.
But she'll retire in about 8 years, and has done well, and is seriously thinking about buying a house here, because again, you can buy a house in our area, Tuscia. You can buy a pretty nice house for $50,000.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's right. That's right.
and in the United States, you can't buy a pretty nice house for $50,000, and you don't have real estate taxes like you do in the States. So she loves coming here. This is her 5th trip here, and
oh, fantastic!
Yeah,
So hopefully, she will be another American expat in Tuscia.
Could be someday.
Okay, Roy, I thank you as well again, because even though you're on your vacation, you found a way to sit with me for 10 minutes. Thank you very much. Enjoy Sicily. Remember to eat almond pasta di mandorle. It's fantastic.
I've had pasta vongole here 100 times. I just had best pasta vongole I ever had.
So Sicily is fantastic for seafood, but pasta di mandorle is not a pasta; it's a dessert. It's fantastic, fantastic. Okay. So Roy, thank you very much. I will talk to you sometime soon. Okay.
All right, another month.
Thank you, man. Bye bye. Okay, from the fun. Actually, last time I spoke with well, no, I don't remember last time, but one time when I spoke with Walt Bianchi, my other friend, he was in Puglia having good time, and I guess today is in Bracciano, but let's hear from him. Walt, good evening. How are you?
Hi, Giulio. I'm great. Thank you. How are you doing?
I am pretty. Do you know Sicily? Have you been there?
I have very quickly. I need to do a deeper tour. I want to do that next. I was thinking of a motorcycle tour around Sicily next summer. So
wow.
It's on my to-do list. Yeah.
That is something that sounds very much fun. Okay, Walt, let's start. I was very quick with Roy because he was literally at the restaurant having dinner, but let's restart nicely with you. So, who is Walter Bianchi?
Walt is a realtor and mortgage lender licensed in Florida and in Italy. Currently, I'm living, there's my business card with my phone numbers. You can dial me either on my American number or Italian number. So what I do is I provide real estate and mortgage services to Italian customers and, of course, American customers. We are the only, to my knowledge, the only lender in Italy who will pre-qualify American buyers with their U.S. dollar income. Many banks here will qualify American buyers, but you have to have income in euros. So they assume that you've been transferred here. Maybe you work for ExxonMobil and you have a local salary and you're paid in euros. That'd be fine. But a lot of people who maybe you're in the military, maybe you are here for just a couple of years or something, and you retain your salary in dollars. most banks can't help you. I can, and so that's a nice little niche product to have. So I moved back to Italy last year, December 31st. Actually, I like to say I semi-retired, but it seems like I don't. I do. I'm still working, so my retirement. But life is so pleasant here, Giulio, as you know, and as Roy was telling us. Um, the pace of life is slower. I've also lost weight. The ingredients are better, the portions are smaller, and you walk everywhere. So there's a lot to be said for Italy. And Roy mentioned that real estate is pretty inexpensive here, and that's true. But for you do need the cash to come up with, and as a second home buyer, the closing costs are going to be a little bit higher, but still, you're going to get a very, very good deal. I tell people that what you might think of doing is purchasing a home here. Maybe you and your family come and stay with it 2 or 3 weeks in the summer, and then you rent it out for the rest of the year. You even make a profit doing it. So, and the Tuscia area, which we're talking about, is, as you mentioned, and Roy confirmed, very, very conveniently located to the highway, the A1 highway that goes up and down Italy. And Onano in particular, I was looking at the map. I didn't realize it's very close to Pitigliano. Now,
Yeah.
Pitigliano is a very frequent destination for Americans who come here because it's a very characteristic town, kind of like San Gimignano, but it's a very powerful tourist attraction. So, the northern Lazio area is a little less known than Tuscany and Umbria, but it's the same. It has the same kind of stuff, and at lesser cost.
Okay, Walt, I want to eventually talk about a specific plan project that I have, but let's go along with what you just said. So Onano is literally between Lazio, Umbria, and Toscana. There is a balcony, I guess, from the Comune building where you can see Tuscany, Umbria, and Lazio, and actually you can see, I think, 5 cities, something like that. But my point is, in a few miles you find Pitigliano, you find some of the hot springs that are in the south part of Tuscany. And of course, you are still close to Rome, Viterbo, to all the amenities you can possibly want. And once again, it's maybe 1 hour and 30 minutes from the airport, right?
Yeah, exactly right. Now, just to explain to Americans who might be watching us, when you speak of Tuscany, Umbria, and Lazio, you're referring to regions of Italy. Italy is divided into 20 regions, much like America has 50 states. Italy has regions. Tuscany is well known. That's where Florence, Pisa are. Umbria also is well known. Perugia is there. Assisi is there. Lazio is the region where Rome is. And the northern Lazio area that we're talking about on the border with Umbria and Tuscany is where Onano is located. And it's a hilly country and just beautiful vistas. In the winter, you'll see snow-capped mountains. And you're just maybe a 40-minute ride from some good skiing in the Apennine Mountains.
Walt, you gave me an idea. You mentioned motorcycle. Do you own a motorcycle? Do you go around with a motorcycle?
I do, yeah. I had a Harley. I had a Harley in America.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I have a 400 here, and I like riding it around. I think next year I'll move up to a Harley here too. I didn't realize there were so many Harleys in Italy. They're all over the place. So now that I realize there's a large Harley community, I'll probably do it again.
Yeah, in fact, I believe pretty much every big comune hosts a Harley meeting every year or something like that. But let's go back to the motorcycle. Do you enjoy riding on the side street and stuff of Lazio or whatever? Do you do that?
Very, very much so. Listen, I was living in Florida, and in Florida, most of the streets you go on are straight. Now, up when you go to Daytona, there's a nice little track you can go around the swamps that are, very curvy and everything. But here, all the roads are naturally curvy, and so you have these wonderful rides in between hills and up and down mountains. It's fantastic, and usually there's very few cars there. And an additional benefit is you're out in the middle of nowhere, and all of a sudden there's this aqueduct from like 2,000 years ago, and you go, wow! You stop. This is this kind of thing you don't see in America. It's pretty cool.
Okay, a very serious question. You cannot go around, okay? So you're traveling around with your motorbike in this curvy road. All of a sudden you're hungry and you stop. Tell us what we find in the middle of nowhere.
You're going to find a little trattoria owned by a mom and pop. They probably don't have a menu. You just show up there and you eat what they serve you. and it's great. It's great. So you'll get a like a €4 bottle of wine with no label. You have no idea what it is, but it's excellent wine. And it's just like the old days, just like the old days. You go back in time.
That sounds fantastic. Okay, so again, I have a question for the project, but let me cover again what you mentioned at the beginning. So for an American that wants to buy in Italy, there is the issue of, do I need a loan or not? If I don't need a loan and I call you, can I buy all cash?
Yes, of course. All cash is always easier. Even in America, cash purchases are easier. Everybody likes them except me because I'm a mortgage broker. So I don't like cash purchase. But yes, I'm also a realtor, and yes, we can help you with a cash purchase. Now, unlike the United States,
well, because I don't want to sound funny, but pretty much every American that could possibly be interested in coming to Italy has 50,000 in the bank, right? It's not 2 million, right?
It's not a big sum of money to come up with that. Now, 50,000 is it's possible, but it's probably going to need some repairs. Most places that you might want maybe closer to the beach or in the mountains might be 80, 90, 100,000. So 50 is a home run. It's a home run. Yeah. But still, even $100,000 home, €100,000 home.
But just our confriend Raffaele prepped something for me. And in Onano in particular, the typical cost is like €500 per square meters, which means a 1,000 square feet place is going to be in the neighborhood of 40, 50,000, right?
Yeah. But then again, Onano, as charming as it is a little out of the way. It's not. These small towns are charming, but they're not for everybody. People who want a little more active social life would prefer a larger town somewhere. So Onano, if you're like a writer preparing the next big novel and you want to retreat, that'd be great. If you want just a nice quiet life, that'd be great. But some people want a little bit more, excitement, and that they might not choose that. Onano's very cute. I've never been there myself, but I was doing a little research before the show. Cute as a button. But as you said, it's only around 900 people, so they roll the sidewalks up at night.
There is more. Actually, I have a little video from one of our events there. Let me just show you. Okay, that's just a little time. Okay, so after this mini break, I'm ready to work with you on this project. So yesterday I met Paulo De Lazzari. He's a Brazilian that moved to America 40 years ago. He's ready to retire, and he's seriously considering Tuscia as retirement, but he's a little hesitant, and his plan is to have a rental place for a year and see how it goes, and then possibly buy. So let's, this is a perfect question for you because you have been a year in Italy. So let's say we have to provide an idea on how to spend a year in Italy while renting a little place. What would you suggest?
Well, first of all, it's going to be difficult to find a rental. Rentals are hard to find these days. The market is saturated and it's hard to find a rental. But if you do, I think that's a good idea. You don't want to buy right off the bat. And when I move, right now, for example, I'm renting where I am now. Even though I know Italy, I know Bracciano, the area where I am. I did a change of lifestyle. I'm going to give it a year or two, see how the wind blows, and then maybe I'll buy something here. But it's hard to find rental properties, and now as a foreigner, Americans are. A lot of people they won't rent their properties because they don't want locals in there, because there was some question in the past about squatters and so. But Americans, everybody loves Americans. They come here with nice big wallets.
By the way,
and they know they're going to leave.
Just to let you know, I told this Paolo, I say, by chance I have an apartment that could be used for rent, and he said, well, as long as it doesn't go over 1,500 a month. I say, are you kidding? That's 500 and it's already full price, right?
Yes. Even rentals are less expensive than the United States. In fact, I tell people, if you retire, in my example, for example, my Social Security check, I know I look very young, but in fact, I'm Social Security.
You look incredibly young.
Thank you. Of course. My Social Security check covers all of my fixed living expenses. If I wanted to just sit and do nothing, I'm good. Instead, I'm too young to be doing nothing, so I still do real estate and mortgages because it's fun. I like helping people. I like steering people the right way and giving them good deals. And, because there's always people who will rip you off. They're here, there, everywhere. There's always people who have no scruples. So I like helping people, answering questions, make them feel comfortable. And so it's not a heavy job, and I like doing it, and I like helping people. So I keep busy.
So let's go back to the plan. So let's say my friend Paul wants to come to Tuscia or wherever. Between his idea is he has to be close to Rome, he has to be close to the hospital, he has to be close to the airport, right? So somewhere between Rome and Tuscany, Viterbo, Bracciano, somewhere there. So what do we suggest him to do in a year? Let's say they can go wherever they want. What do you suggest?
Well, you can stay for 90 days unless you're a citizen or an EU national. Otherwise, you can only stay 90 days as a tourist, then you have to leave. You can come back. But these days, there's the nomad tourist, the nomad visa. And what that is, if for people whose companies will issue them a note saying that their job is virtual, they can work anywhere, then you can stay here indefinitely. So the first thing you need to do is check with the Italian consulate in your area, better yet, a consultant who works with the consulate, and find out what are your documentation requirements. Can you get residence here? To be a resident here means something. We don't have residency in the United States. To be, you have to declare to the government what your actual address is. We don't do that in America, but that is pivotal. Once you have that residence certificate, then you can get you can get an ID card, your health card. Everything else follows from your residence. But if you are an American wanting to live here as a nomad visa, a digital nomad, I knew I was forgetting a word, then you have other requirements which you should find out with your consulate what they are before showing up here. Yeah. Obviously, if you can rent.
No. Let's say I forget, I didn't do it before. So can I come there for like 80 days and travel to America and then go back?
Yeah. There's no requirement. Just show up with a passport. Your passport has to have, at the end of your trip, so they'll look at your tickets. If your return ticket has to have, your passport has to have 6 months or more remaining at the time of your return ticket. Otherwise they won't let you in. So that's people sometimes get tripped up on that. So you want to be careful for that.
Just because we are talking about documents, how about driver license? How do you know how it works?
Yeah, American driver's licenses are not transferable to Europe at all. It's like we're North Koreans. I tried it, and you have to get an Italian license. Now, here's the deal. If you are coming here, you have an American driver's license, you must get an international driver's license. It's easy. You go online. It's a 3-day thing. They mail it to you. It's easy, and that's good for a year, and then you just renew it. I just renewed mine. I got mine in October last year. I renewed it now. No problem at all. But to get an Italian driver's license, you're going to have to be a resident. You're going to have to take a difficult course where you learn about engines and stuff. And then you're going to have to take 6 hours of driving lessons. It all adds up to 800 or 900 euros. It's very expensive.
International driver license is better. Yes. Yeah. Okay, so let's say we are okay with the documents. But what I really want you to talk about is, what do you suggest to do while in Italy?
And enjoy the civility, the dolce vita. I mean, it depends. If you're working, I know another mortgage broker friend of mine is in San Diego, and he spent recently 3 months in Florence, so we met up there. He just does his business normally from if your job is really digital, I do my job from here. I don't meet American clients. I haven't met a client in years, but so if you want to work, you can. If you're actually retired, Italy. I read somewhere that Italy has 25% of the world's art. You literally cannot go into any little town without finding noteworthy pieces of art, sculptures, statues, churches, mosaics, you name it. Onano, I'm sure, has something of note. Obelisks that the Romans took from Egypt, you name it. My classmates, I did high school here, and they tell me they've lived here all their life, and they still haven't seen a quarter of what Italy has. They haven't seen a tenth of it.
A question for you. Have you ever used the train to travel around in?
All the time. I love the trains here. Listen, I don't know what they did, but Italy has become super punctual. The trains leave on time. They get there on time. They're air conditioned. I used to take the train from Bracciano into Rome when I was a kid in the 70s. And it was a choo-choo train, had black smoke coming out of it. The hours, the schedules had no bearing with reality. You just waited until it came and then you got on. These days, it's to the minute. They're air conditioned. There's a little monitor with your trip and what station you're at and the announcements in Italian and excellent English. I mean, the only thing that didn't have was somebody coming around to take your order. But now the high-speed trains, I went from Rome to Padova, which is in northern Italy, in 3.5 hours. Now that would be probably a 7 or 8 hour drive, if I were to drive on the highway. So the train system here is excellent. I think Roy also commented on the transportation. And some of the roads outside cities are a little bumpy, little potholes and everything.
Going back to the train, I think because obviously all these stations are very old, they are in the very center of the place where you want to go. So, for example, in Florence, you arrive in Venice, you arrive in Santa Lucia, that is Venice. So you're there already, right? That's fantastic, I think.
That's right. Rome's Termini station is right in the middle. Florence's Santa Maria Novella is right there in the middle. Naples station is right there in the middle. It's very convenient if you live in the city. I live outside, so I have to take a train to get into the main train station and then take a train up. But for those kinds of trips, I'd much rather relax on a train, not worry about traffic, not worry about getting in an accident or running out of gas or whatever, and just get there fresh and relaxed,
In fact, I would go even one step further. Even though you have a car, I would suggest go to a station, for example, Ort in our area, and get the train that goes north or whatever. Instead of driving and having to look for parking and this and that, you just go there and you're in the middle of everything. So, right?
Absolutely, yeah. There's for me, there's no parking in near the Rome train station, so that's not I suppose I could. There actually is parking, but I always just take the train from Bracciano to Rome. It's an hour's trip. So,
okay, let's step it up. How about going to Europe? How hard it is?
Well, for me, I have also Italian citizenship. You don't need a passport to go anywhere. You just have your ID card. But the flights I flipped. I was in Amsterdam. I was in Germany. I was in. I think that's it this year. Just 2 countries. Very, very convenient. I mean, it's a domestic flight. So when you get off the plane in Munich or Berlin, there's no passport. You just walk out just like you would in a domestic flight. So anything inside the European community is super easy. And I'll tell you, the European Union, okay, there's a lot of regulations, and a lot of Americans are allergic to regulations, but they're heavy. They can be heavy, but they really, really protect the citizens. They really does. Most people here are happy with the level of regulation that the government has imposed, pollution-wise, control of resources, that kind of thing. Whereas in America, people tend to be a little suspicious of government regulations.
Okay, Walt, we are towards the end, so I want you to make again your pitch. For every need in real estate, please contact Walt. So you make your own pitch.
Well, if you put my business card back up there, that'll be my contact information is there. Look, the first thing to do is to talk it over, ask questions. Is this something you want to do? What are your goals? Are you retiring? Are you going to do maybe have an investment property in Italy? What exactly are you trying to do? How many people are you? Is it husband and wife? Is it a whole family? What kind of place do you want? Do you want North or South Italy? Hint, the food gets better the souther you go. Okay, so remember that. And so there's a lot of questions to consider before you decide to do anything. And I'd be happy to help. If you were to call me, I'd be happy to give you. I mean, I lived half my life in Italy and half my life in the States, so I can advise you as to what you can expect when you move here. For example, you might think that you need to learn Italian. You really don't. In many, especially the touristy areas like Rome, Florence, most, especially younger people, will be able to speak English. You'll get by. And these days, you also have an app on your phone where if you say something in English, it'll come out in Italian. But the older people are less fluent than the younger people, and people outside the tourist areas, like the little mom and pop restaurant I mentioned, they won't speak English at all. Yeah, and the rest of the menu, if they have a menu, it won't be in English either. So you better figure that out. So bring your iPhone and be ready to do some Google Translate.
Walt, I thank you. And of course, the next meeting is going to be in a month, the third Monday of the month. And this is kind of fun. And I certainly hope that more and more people will listen to us because, as you can see, as Hugo said, one telephone call to you with the American number, you can answer all the questions, and then you guys take it from there.
In a month from now, I will actually be in Florida.
Oh, that would be fun. That would be fun. Okay.
As it gets colder here, I have a desire to return to Florida.
It makes sense. It makes sense. Okay, that is fantastic. Thank you very much, Walt. I'll see you in a month.
Very good, Giulio. Have a good day.
Bye bye. Regista, com'è andata oggi?
Bene, benissimo, come sempre. Ci vediamo alla prossima, Giulio.
Dalla Tuscia